Good morning, happy Sunday, and happy summer solstice, everybody. This is such a great time of year because we have just turned the wheel to summer. Yay, a lot of people are really excited about that. I am a winter baby, but I know most of you are probably summer lovers. So it's interesting because we all seem to have our favorite season too, whatever the season is, whether it's spring or fall, summer or winter, wherever you prefer to fall on the wheel. It's great to honor that season, just like with the moon phases. It's important to honor whatever the phase is that we're in and use that to empower yourself. Don't feel like you get sucked into a cycle and you hate the cycle or you're frustrated and just not happy with it. I could easily fall into that cycle with summer because I don't like the heat and I don't like the sun, but I find ways to make summer work and to be enjoying it and have fun with it anyway. Same thing with winter. For those of you that don't really like winter, you can find ways to love it and find what works well during it. Same thing with all the moon phases. So if you haven't already, please hit that like button on our Facebook page or hit the subscribe button on YouTube. If you're on one and not the other, check out the other page and like or subscribe to that too. And if you want to share this video out, we always appreciate that as well. And we're just going to dive right in because this is the summer solstice. This is the time for action and adventure and getting out into things. So as we turn the wheel to summer, it's time to use that summer's light to really ignite your passion for consciously creating your destiny. As we've talked about the wheel many times, the winter is the time for planning. We harvest, we go within, we plant the seeds, and now it's the action. So use the summer light. The light of our brightest star, the sun, is shining down on us right now, bestowing its blessings upon us. How fortunate are we to live in a part of the universe where we have a beautiful sun and it just happens to be far enough away from us to sustain and support life, to create and have the balance of oceans and land on our planet. Think about that. Think about how lucky we are to be in this type of a life form. It's, the macro and the micro. You can go really deep and you can expand really big with the way you find gratitude in life. So as the sun is shining happily upon us as though it's sending us its good wishes and blessings. And it's really time for each of us to choose what we are going to do. This is your choice during this time of action. Will you fulfill your destiny? Will you understand what your destiny is? Do you know what your purpose is? Is it something you're seeking out? Will you consciously choose and create your life? Or are you just going to let it slip by and follow the herd? It's really up to you to seize the blessings as we turn the wheel to this beautiful time of the summer solstice. I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story. I started to tell this story at Yule, and we had a little bit of a twist ending at Yule, and we're going to go ahead and continue that a little bit further. So if you don't already remember the story, this is a story about two kings, and this is a very, very old story that has gone on for many, many eons. And these two kings both wanted to rule the world in their own way. They battled and fought each other every single year, actually twice a year, every single year. You could set your clocks by it. One would instigate the fight at summer, and one would instigate the fight at Yule. And so they continued this fight and this battle because the Oak King really believed that he wanted the world to always be in summer. He loved the light so much, and he believed that this was the time of light in life. He would watch the people on earth go out of their homes and play and be active and get so many things done and enjoy the summer. A lot of people that were working during the year, they would find time to take even just a week or two off in the summer and travel and explore and enjoy the summertime. He watched the berries grow on the vines, and he watched the vegetables come up in the garden, and all of the flowers came into full bloom. So he believed that summer was the very best time of all, and he wanted it to last forever for everyone. But then you look at the Holly King, and he really disagreed. He believed that winter was the best time of all. He loved the darkness and the cold. He sounds a little bit like me. And he saw the beauty and the magic and the wonder that happens in the winter. He would watch the people of Earth in winter stay inside their homes. They would gather with family. They would enjoy the fruits of the harvest as they had harvested them in the fall, and they planned and they prepared, and they would make jams and jellies out of those berries. He could see the nests of the squirrels high up in the trees and felt such joy seeing them nestled in together, keeping warm. And he even had the ability to see down into the burrows in the ground where the raccoons and the possums would share dens together. And he believed that winter was the best time for everyone, and he wanted it to last forever. And yet the kings really disagreed every single year. They never could seem to get their act together. And so they decided that they would battle and battle. And every single year at the summer solstice, the Holly King would win. And every single year at the winter solstice, the Oak King would win. And the reason they won was by sheer determination, too, because at the summer solstice, the Oak King was in the height of his virility, and the Oak King was the strongest in the summer because he had been taking all of that time in the beginning of the year as we had spring and the light started to come back to grow and to get stronger. And then at the winter solstice, the Holly King was at his height because it had been getting darker for longer and longer. And so as they would battle and raise up against each other, they ended up fighting, and at the end of that, the one who lost would go and nurse his wounds and work to get better and finally come back 6 months later. It seems really tiring to me to have a battle every 6 months. And you know how the outcome is going to be because it's the same every single year. Yet that really translates a lot to what we do in our own lives. A lot of times we might feel like we are in a rut. We do the same thing and we get the same outcome, but we don't want the same outcome. We want to change our lives. We want to have a different outcome. We expect something new will happen, yet if you really look at your patterns and your habits, you're doing the same thing all the time, which is going to produce the same results. So at Yule, I told a different ending to this story. This was a version that I had heard from Cedar Song, which is a Druid circle in Lansing, and they said that with this ending, the Holly King and the Oak King this past year had gone up to have their same battle, but usually the Holly King was at his prime at Yule. He was usually well rested, and that's, why we would have so much dark and so much snow. But this time the Oak King greeted him, and it was very different. The Holly King looked old and weak. He had a limp, and he just didn't look like himself. Yet we still had all of the winter around us. It had still been getting darker every single day from summer solstice to the winter solstice. We were losing light every single day, yet he looked so weak. And so the Oak King asked the Holly King, "What's wrong? Why are you so weary at this time when we should be ready to wage war and bring the sun back? And you should be at your height. Why are you so weak? Why are you so frail?" The Holly King said something different is going on with mankind. Mankind is different. The Oak King said, "Mankind always changes. What are you talking about?" This is why we shift and change as we turn the light into the dark. This is what we do every year. We shift and change, and we bring the sun back at this time of year. And you already brought the darkness back, so why is it so different now? And the Holly King replied, "Man has invented light. People of Earth have lost touch with the darkness. They've had light for a while, but they seem to be losing their way because no longer are they staying in their homes and planning and thinking. Instead, they're up really late. They're out all the time because they've invented light. They've invented heat. They don't need to stay as close together. They're focused on everything external, and they're no longer looking within. They argue and they blame each other for the state of their lives, but they've stopped looking and seeing what they are doing themselves. They no longer honor me and the quiet space within. They're so busy looking at everyone else and what everybody else is doing in life. My beauty of the darkness, my purpose of going inward and creating within is no longer valued by people of Earth. Some of them even seem to be afraid to look within. They would rather just look at everyone else and what everything is happening around them and in their lives, feeling like they don't have the power because they're not recognizing that they need to take the time to look within. Some of them are afraid that they might not like what they see, and they've forgotten that their power lies within. And when they look within, they bring their power out. Because remember, that is the beauty of winter, where you look within. And the beauty of summer is where you create without. The Oak King thought for a moment, this was back at Yule, and recognized that if he waged war and battled, it really wouldn't be much of a battle this year. The Holly King was so frail, and he didn't want to bring back the sunlight if it meant that people would continue moving forward blindly, not paying attention to the direction they are going. So instead, he suggested a truce. For the betterment of all of the people of Earth, the two kings instead joined hands this last winter and declared that for that specific season, this last 6 months, that they would walk together in peace, with the hope that the people would begin to recognize balance and learn to value that there is a value in each season. There is a reason, and there is a cycle within each of the seasons. The two kings stood strong together and watched over the people, and they've also been reflecting on themselves. They stood together at the balance at the spring equinox. The mighty Oak King was looking over the southern hemisphere, and the Holly King was looking over the northern hemisphere as we continue to lose light every single day. Now we are reaching the summer solstice, and as they turn to each other, realizing again that they really still don't want to repeat that same battle. They've noticed that people have evolved. Mankind created light, and in doing so, the need for a new cycle. By walking in peace, hand in hand, through the winter, the kings have realized that they really are one and the same, that they weren't separated as they thought they were. Each of these two kings, who seem to look like brothers, have actually realized that they are two halves of a whole, that they have knowledge and strength that comes from within and from each other, and they have had their own light bulb turn on as they realize that they are not really separated. They are one. They are one and the same. There is a time for planning and for planting. There's a time for labor, and there's a time for gathering. Each of these seasons is really something to celebrate. Each of these seasons needs its own space, yet each season is reliant on the season before. If we had the harvest and we didn't have the summer, nothing would have grown to be able to harvest it. If you skip the winter and you don't make any plans, then what are you planting when the springtime comes? For each of these seasons, and indeed the mighty oak and the holly king are within you, as you recognize that each season needs its own space and each season is reliant on the other seasons. One represents the time to plan and look within, the time to design your life, remembering that each of these are ways that you can design your life. That's the whole point, is consciously creating your life. While other seasons represent the time to execute your plan and to create your life. Those are different things, but they tie in completely together. When you do this, and when you spend time equally honoring each of these vital aspects within yourself, it is then that you really start to manifest your destiny. And the beauty and the ability to reach your destiny is when you recognize that the balance of power is planning and going within. And that needs to also be met by the action and the steps to propel you forward. If you want to create your life, you really have to have all of these. We are physical beings on a physical planet for a reason. We are also spiritual beings within this physical body, and we need to honor that as well. The holly king represents spirit, while the oak king represents the body and action. We need both of these. We need to recognize that both of these are within us, that they are one and the same, that we have everything within us, that we are two halves of a whole that can be seen in 4 quarters as well, depending on how you are dividing that up, how you are looking at what you are. You can see it as spirit up here and body down here, but they're combined right within you. That's where your soul lies. We need both. Discover the essence within yourself and see how you can learn to walk in balance. Embrace the time to go within, to seek the answers, to set your goals, and to plan so you can drive your life in the direction that you want to. You're going to be driving your life in the direction that you're looking, so drive your life in the direction that you plan and be conscious about the turns that you make. Be conscious about what it is you want. Don't just follow the herd. Don't rely on excuses. Don't expect it's something cosmic or something from other people. Know that all of the power lies right within you. Embrace that within yourself. Seek those answers, set your goals so that you can plan and drive your life in the direction that you want to go. And then the miracles will happen because you have it all within yourself. Truly, it is important enough. You can find the time to prioritize yourself. You can create a vision board and start doing what it takes to make those miracles happen. And know that you have all of it. Everything you need within yourself. I know I say that frequently, but it's so important to know. Some of the words I want to leave you with is just some questions, some things to think about for yourself. When was the last time you really stopped to look within yourself, to see who you are? Who are you? What are your goals? What do you want to do? Do you know what your destiny is, or are you seeking it? Knowing that you can define it, you can describe it, you write it, and you can create it, all of that power is within you. And what do you feel like on the inside? And how do you think others see you? Do those two thoughts match each other? Do you need to take some action steps so that your outer self reflects your inner self? And if you continue heading in the direction and doing exactly what you have been doing, where will you be in a year? 3 years? 10 years? Is it where you want to be? Are you doing the things to plan and to plant and to do and to take the action and to harvest? Are you doing all of that so you will be where you want to be, who you want to be in 10 years? Is that what you want with your life? If yes, fantastic. If not, change it because it's all within you. Nobody else is creating or driving or influencing your life in a way where they have any power or control. All of that lies within you. Don't give up your power. Don't give up your balance to anyone else. Know that it is right within you. It's within your heart, within your soul, within your mind, within the action steps that you take. And I hope you will take all of that to heart today and have a fantastic summer solstice. Go out and celebrate, honor the sun, and enjoy that there really is a time and a season for everything. Every season has its reason. And have a fantastic week. Please remember, if you haven't already, to like this video and share it as well.